Vera sat at the edge of the learning dome, watching a glowing screen play a human video. It was an old Earth recording a short film of humans laughing around a campfire, singing a song under a starlit sky. Their voices were soft, full of warmth and feeling. Vera didn't understand every word, but she felt the emotion in them. It made her heart feel strange, like something was pulling it gently. She smiled to herself, repeating one of the English lines under her breath. "I miss you already." Behind her, a group of young alien girls burst out laughing. "There she goes again," one said, rolling her eyes. "The human lover. Maybe she thinks a human will come and sweep her away like in those silly movies." Another giggled. "Don't they have soft skin and tiny muscles?" A third one asked. How could anyone dream of that? Vera didn't turn around. She had heard it all before, every day. The mockery, the jokes, the whispers behind her back. But it still hurt, even when she tried to act like it didn't. She picked up her translator crystal and tucked it into her pouch. The video ended, and the soft human voices faded away. "You should focus on real things," said her friend Nala, who sat nearby. "Your training, your future, not humans." Vera looked at her friend with calm eyes. "I do my training, and I know my future. But this makes me happy." Nala sighed. "You're not like the others. You're too gentle. Maybe. That's why I like humans," Vera said softly. "They feel things. They don't hide it. They cry. They laugh. They speak love like it's a beautiful thing. Our people don't live like that." Nala said, "I know," Vera replied. "But sometimes I wish we did." The bell rang, signaling the start of the next session. Vera stood up and followed the others into the main hall. Inside, the elder teacher stood in front of the class, looking more serious than usual. "Young ones," the elder began, "you are to attend the welcoming of an outsider guest. A human envoy has arrived on our world and will speak before the High Council." The room filled with murmurs. Most of the students groaned or rolled their eyes. "Why bring a human here?" One boy whispered. "They're slow, soft, and emotional. Probably just to show how weak they are," someone else added. But Vera's heart skipped. She blinked, then looked up at the elder. "A human?" she asked quietly. "Yes," the elder confirmed. "One from Earth. You will observe. Do not speak unless asked. This is a formal event." That night, Vera barely slept. She stared at the ceiling of her pod, thoughts spinning in every direction. A real human. Here? Not a video or a photo. A real one. Would he talk like they did? In her recordings, would he carry the same warmth in his eyes? The next day came too fast. Vera joined the other students, dressed in formal robes, and walked in silence to the council chamber. Tall and glowing with pale light, the chamber was filled with council members, elders, and students seated in rings around a central platform. And then he walked in, the human envoy. He was tall for a human, but shorter than the alien guards who walked beside him. His hair was dark, his eyes gentle. He wore simple earth clothes and held his hands behind his back. He looked around the room, not with fear or arrogance, but with curiosity, calm curiosity. Many aliens looked unimpressed. He looked so plain. Someone whispered. VE or A ignored them. She couldn't take her eyes off him. The human stepped to the center and gave a small bow. Then he spoke. "Thank you for this invitation. My name is Nathan. I come from Earth, not to demand or judge, but to learn, to understand, and to share." His voice wasn't loud, but it was steady, soft but strong. Vera's fingers gripped her seat. She leaned forward slightly, her heart pounding. As he spoke, Nathan glanced around the audience. His gaze slowly moved across the room and stopped, just for a second, right on her. Their eyes met. He didn't look away quickly. He smiled, just a soft, kind smile. Vera froze. The other girls noticed. "He smiled at you," one of them said, her voice sharp with disbelief. "Probably by accident." Another whispered, "Don't get ideas, dreamer." One of them hissed, but Vera didn't hear them this time. For the first time in her life, a human wasn't on a screen. He was here, and he had smiled at her. Not because she was strange, not because she was mocked, but as if he saw her, really saw her. As if she mattered. The next day, Vera sat near the garden path where the trees grew tall with blue leaves. She had come here for peace, but her mind was still filled with the memory of that moment. The human's smile, gentle and clear, she couldn't forget it, not even for a second. She played the memory over and over in her head. His name was Nathan. That was what he had said. A human envoy from Earth, not loud or proud like others expected, but calm and respectful. Her heart still beat strangely every time she thought of him. Footsteps approached behind her. Vera turned slightly and saw Nala. "You're out early," Nala said, sitting beside her. "I couldn't sleep," Vera admitted. "You're thinking about him?" Vera gave a small nod. Nala frowned. "Vera, you need to stop. They already talk about you. Now they say the human looked at you like you were special." Vera looked down at her hands. "And what if I am?" Nala sighed. "You're my friend. I don't want you to be hurt." "He smiled at me," Vera whispered. "Not because of who I am. Not because of what they say. He just smiled. Like I was a person." Nala didn't answer. She only looked at Vera. Worry in her eyes. That afternoon, Vera visited the Learning Dome again. But this time, she didn't watch a recording. She walked past the main chamber and turned into the open gardens, where guests often walked. She didn't expect to see anyone, but there he was. Nathan. He stood near a tall glowing plant, touching one of its soft petals gently. He wore a translator band on his wrist. Vera froze. He turned around slowly, sensing someone behind him. Their eyes met again. He smiled. "Hello," he said, his voice gentle. Ver a single quotes as throat felt dry. She bowed politely. "Greetings." He nodded. "I remember you. You were at the council chamber." She nodded quickly. "Yes, I was there." He tilted his head. "You speak English well." Vera smiled a little. "I studied. I like human things." Nathan's eyebrows lifted. "Really? Like what? Stories, music, voices, feelings?" He chuckled. "Most aliens find our emotions strange. I find them beautiful," she said softly. He looked at her with surprise, then sat on a nearby bench. "Would you like to walk with me?" She nodded and joined him. They walked slowly, side by side. "Why do you like human stories?" Nathan asked. "Because they're full of heart," Vera said. "You feel things deeply. You speak honestly. You don't hide what matters." He smiled. "Some might say we're too emotional. Maybe. But I wish my people felt the same. We hide too much. We fear being soft." "Being soft isn't a weakness," Nathan said. "It's a choice. To care." Vera looked up at him with wide eyes. She liked his words. They felt warm. They reached a quiet corner of the garden. Small lights floated in the air like glowing feathers. "This place is peaceful," Nathan said. "I come here when the others mock me," Vera said without thinking. He looked at her. "Mock you?" She nodded slowly. "They say I'm foolish. I dream about humans. I talk about Earth. They laugh." He frowned. "That's not fair." "It's all right," she whispered. "I'm used to it." Nathan was quiet for a moment. "You shouldn't have to be used to it." She looked at him, eyes full of silent questions. "Dreams are powerful," he continued, "and lonely people understand each other best." She smiled then, a real smile. As they walked back, Vera's heart felt lighter. She didn't care what others said. Not anymore. She had talked to a human, and he had listened. The next day, the whispers grew louder. She was seen with him, one alien girl said. She probably begged him for attention. Another added. Vera heard it all. But she didn't shrink this time. She walked tall, her eyes steady. During midday, Nala pulled her aside. "What are you doing?" Nala asked. "They're going to report you." "For what?" Vera asked calmly. "For walking and talking. For being too close to an outsider." "You know our rules." Vera nodded. "I know. But I won't pretend anymore." Nala looked at her, then walked away without another word. Later that evening, Vera sat alone in the Learning Dome. She held a small crystal recorder, thinking of the garden walk. Suddenly, a shadow fell over her. She turned and saw Nathan again. "I was hoping I'd find you," he said, Why? She asked, surprised, because talking to you felt peaceful, and I want to understand more. Vera blinked. Me? Why? He smiled. Because you're not like the others, and I like that. Vera sat at her table, her fingers gently brushing the cover of a human storybook one she had translated herself. Outside, the sky was filled with soft lights, and a warm wind blew across the city. But her thoughts were not on the stars tonight. They were on Nathan. In the last few days, they had met many times, sometimes by chance, sometimes on purpose. Every time they spoke, Vera felt something inside her grow stronger. It wasn't just hope. It was something deeper, something real. Nathan asked questions that no one else had ever asked her. What's your favorite sound? Why do your people hide their feelings? Do you ever wish you could live on Earth? And Vera answered everyone, not with fear, but with joy. He listened, truly listened. One afternoon, they sat beneath the blue leaf trees again. Nathan had brought a small device from Earth, something he called a music player. This is a song my sister liked, he said, placing one earbud near Vera's ear and holding the other to his own. A slow, soft melody played. Vera closed her eyes. It was like starlight being turned into sound. The words were strange, but the feeling was like warmth in her chest. When the song ended, she opened her eyes slowly. Humans sing with so much heart, she whispered. Nathan smiled. Music carries our feelings. When words are not enough, she nodded. Your people know how to feel. I think that's why I always admired you. Nathan looked at her with kind eyes. You admire humans. But what about yourself? Vera blinked. What do you mean? You're brave. He said, to dream when others laugh, to speak your heart in a place that hides it. Not many can do that. Vera turned her face away, her cheeks warming. I just believe there's more to life than cold rules and quiet faces. So do I, Nathan said. They sat in silence after that, but it was not empty. It was the silence of understanding. Later that night, Vera returned home, only to find her mother waiting. Where have you been? Her mother asked. Studying. Vera replied softly. With the human, Vera didn't lie. Yes, her mother frowned. This must stop. You're making the family look strange. People are talking. Vera's heart sank. Why does it matter if people talk? Because you're part of a name, a line. You have duties. You don't belong in human dreams. Vera looked down. But what if I don't belong in silence either? Her mother stared at her for a long moment, then walked away without another word. The next day, Vera met Nathan again, but this time something was different. He looked troubled. What's wrong? Vera asked. Some council members spoke to me, Nathan said. They asked about us, about why we meet often. Vera's face grew still. What did you say? The truth. That we talk. That we learn from each other. Nothing more. And were they angry? Confused, Nathan said. Some think it's dangerous to be close. They believe feelings can make things messy. Vera gave a sad smile. Because feelings are seen as weakness. But they're not, Nathan replied. You've shown me that. They walked along the quiet path, away from watchers and whispers. Nathan turned toward Vera. You once said humans feel deeply. He said, I want to be honest with you. Vera looked up, eyes wide. I like talking to you, Vera. He said, you make me feel peaceful. I don't have to pretend. You understand things most don't. Vera felt her breath catch. I feel the same. He smiled. Then maybe, even if the others don't understand, we do, for the first time. Vera didn't care what others thought. Her dream was no longer just a dream. It had shape, voice. It stood beside her in the form of a real human. As they walked back toward the central district, a group of alien students stood nearby. They saw Nathan and Vera together, and they laughed loudly. Still chasing Earth boys? One of them said, maybe she thinks he'll take her back in his ship. Another joked. Vera stopped walking. She turned to face them. You laugh, she said calmly. But I know something you don't. Oh, what's that? One girl asked, smirking. What it means to be seen, to be listened to be respected, not for what family I come from or what title I carry, but for who I am. The girls stared at her, stunned by her quiet courage. Nathan stood beside her and said nothing, but his smile said everything. And in that moment, the mockery began to fade, not because it stopped, but because Vera no longer let it matter. For the next few days, Vera kept her distance from Nathan, not because she wanted to, but because the pressure around her had grown heavier. Everywhere she went, someone watched. Whispers followed her like shadows. Even some teachers looked at her with silent disapproval. Her father called her into the family room. His voice was calm, but firm. Vera, he said, we raised you to be wise. You must stop this now. Stop what? She asked softly, already knowing the answer. This friendship, this human obsession. You are not a child anymore. It's not obsession, she whispered. He respects me. He listens. That's more than most ever did. He's not one of us, her father said. When he leaves, what will you have? Silence and a heart full of hurt. And if I walk away now, Vera replied, I'll still be left with silence. But I'll also lose something real. Her father didn't answer. He only stood and walked away. Shaking his head, Vera went to her favorite place, the Blue Leaf Garden. She sat on a stone bench and watched the lights drift in the air. Part of her wanted to cry, but the tears would not come. Not now. Not yet. A voice broke the silence. I hoped I'd find you here. She turned. Nathan stood a few steps away. You weren't at the Learning Dome today, he said gently. I needed time, Vera replied. He nodded and sat beside her. The council asked more questions. He said, I told them again I came here to learn, and you've taught me more than anyone else. Vera looked at him. They won't understand. They don't have to, Nathan said, as long as we do. They sat quietly for a while. Then Vera reached into her pouch and took out a small, hand-carved crystal. She placed it on his palm. What's this? He asked. My first translator crystal, she said. I made it when I started learning human words. It doesn't work well anymore. But I kept it. Nathan smiled. You want me to have it? She nodded. You help me believe my voice matters. He looked at the small object, then at her. Then I'll keep it always. As the sun set, Vera walked back through the city, her head high. People stared, but she didn't feel small anymore. But her peace didn't last long. Two alien boys from the upper clan blocked her way near the market entrance. One was tall and cold-eyed. The other had a cruel smile. You think you're special now, don't you? The taller one said. A human smiled at you, and suddenly you're above us? The other added. Vera didn't answer. She tried to walk past them, but they moved again. You shame your people, the tall one said. You make us look weak. I follow my own truth, Vera replied, her voice calm. Then maybe we should remind you of who you are, the cruel one said. Before anything else could happen, another voice echoed behind them. Step away from her. Nathan stood there, his face serious, his step steady. The boys laughed. Look who came, her soft little human. Nathan walked forward without fear. You think we won't touch you? One said. You can try, Nathan said. But harming me will only cause trouble for your families and for your planet. His voice was quiet, but strong. The boys hesitated, then backed off, muttering insults under their breath. Nathan looked at Vera. Are you all right? She nodded slowly. Yes. They walked away together, leaving the whispers behind. They won't stop, Vera said. They're scared of what they don't understand. Then let them be scared, Nathan replied. We're not hurting anyone. We're just being honest. Vera smiled a little. You always say the right thing. Maybe because I mean it, he said. That night, Nathan returned to his quarters and sent a message to Earth. He requested something unusual, a small, personal gift shipment to the alien city. The next day, a small box arrived. Vera opened it carefully. Inside was a memory crystal with human music, videos, and a short message. When she played it, Nathan's voice filled the room. For Vera, the girl who taught me courage doesn't need to be loud. Who reminded me that feelings are strength, not weakness. Thank you. Vera pressed the crystal to her chest. And for the first time in a long while, She cried, not from pain, but from feeling seen. For the next few sun cycles, Vera felt something change inside her. Not fear, not shame, something strong. Even when people stared, even when some students laughed, she no longer looked down. Her steps became firm, her voice more clear. The memory crystal from Nathan had become her most precious thing. At night, she would hold it in her hands and listen to his message again. Every time, his words reminded her that she wasn't wrong for dreaming. She was just ahead of everyone else. In the academy, things grew tense. More aliens started whispering about her and Nathan. Some teachers became colder. The head instructor even warned her, "You are drawing attention to yourself in a way that disrupts tradition," he said. Vera didn't answer. She just bowed and left quietly. But in her heart, she wasn't sorry. Meanwhile, Nathan had become busy with meetings and council talks. He still found time to walk with Vera, but they both knew something was coming. His mission was almost over. He would leave soon. One evening, they met under the tall tree near the glowing stream. The wind was calm, and the sky above showed stars that shimmered like glass. "How long do you have left?" Vera asked, her voice soft. "For days," Nathan replied. She looked down. "That's soon." "I know," he said. "I wish it wasn't." They sat together, shoulders almost touching, but not quite. A silence passed between them, gentle, not awkward. "You've changed me," Nathan said. "How?" Vera asked. "Before I came here, I thought this trip would be routine, political, dry. But then I met you, and everything became different." Vera's heart beat faster. "You reminded me why I joined the diplomatic program," he continued. "Not to talk with councils, but to meet people, real people, people like you." Vera turned to him. "And you reminded me I'm not foolish." "You never were," Nathan said. "You just saw something others didn't." She smiled. "And now that you do, will you remember me when you leave?" He looked at her with deep, honest eyes. "I won't forget you, Vera. Not ever." She reached into her satchel and pulled out a folded piece of soft cloth. Inside was a small pendant, shaped like a star. "This is for you," she said. "What is it?" Nathan asked. "My people wear it when we want to remember something that changed us." He took it gently. "Then I'll wear it always." After he left that night, Vera walked back through the city. A few alien girls watched her from a distance. They didn't laugh this time. One of them, who used to mock her the most, looked away when their eyes met. The next day, Vera was summoned by the council. The chamber was quiet. The elders sat in a half circle. "Vera," one of them said, "we've heard much about your time with the human envoy. Your name has caused division among the students." Vera stood tall. "I did nothing wrong. You may have broken no laws," the elders said, "but your actions question our customs." "Then maybe the customs need to be questioned," Vera replied. There was a pause. "We understand the value of learning from other species," the head counselor said. "But your feelings have stirred discomfort. Is discomfort worse?" Then silence. Vera asked out. The chamber went quiet. "We are not here to punish." The elder finally said, "We only ask be careful. The galaxy watches us. And humans are still strangers to many." "They may be strangers," Vera said, "but they are not enemies. And this one Nathan, he is not dangerous. He is kind." After the meeting, Vera walked through the halls feeling a strange calm. She had spoken her truth, and no one could take that away from her. Later that night, she received a message crystal. It was from Nathan. His voice came through softly. "Vera, I leave tomorrow. I don't know when I'll return, but I want you to know something. In all the places I visited, no one ever made me feel more human than you did. Thank you for your voice, your courage, your stories, and your heart. This isn't the end. Not for me. Not for us." Vera held the crystal to her chest. Her eyes closed slowly. She didn't know when they would meet again. But deep inside, she believed they would. Because sometimes, dreams don't end. They begin. Vera stood near the launch platform, watching the human ship rise into the sky. Her hands were still, but her heart wasn't. The engines glowed as the vessel lifted off, becoming smaller and smaller until it disappeared into the clouds. She didn't cry. Not this time. She stood tall, remembering Nathan's words. This wasn't the end, just the beginning. But the days that followed felt heavy. The academy halls felt colder. The blue leaf garden felt emptier. Even the sky looked a little duller without Nathan's voice nearby. Vera spent more time alone. Not because she was sad, but because she was thinking. She replayed their conversations. She listened to his message every night, and each time, she felt more sure of herself. Students no longer mocked her out loud. Some still whispered, but many just stayed quiet now. A few even looked at her with curiosity instead of judgment. One girl, the same one who used to laugh the loudest, approached her near the learning dome. "You spoke with him like equals," the girl said. "Was it really so different?" Vera looked at her calmly. "Yes, it was." After that, the girl walked away, but she didn't laugh again. One evening, Vera received a summons to the council chamber. This time, it wasn't just the elders waiting. A guest from the Galactic Network had arrived, a historian, one who studied cultural bridges between species. The historian greeted her with interest. "You are Vera, the one who befriended the human envoy." Vera bowed. "Yes, the story of your time with him has reached many, even Earth's public channels are speaking about it." Vera's eyes widened slightly. "They are." The historian smiled. "Humans find stories with feeling, powerful, and your name has become part of one." The council explained that Nathan's visit had sparked new talks between Earth and their world. Small changes, at first exchange programs, shared knowledge, open communication, and Vera's actions had become a quiet symbol of that change. "We did not expect your connection to matter this much," one elder admitted. Vera said nothing. She just listened. "What do you wish to do now?" the historian asked. Vera thought carefully, then answered, "I want to help others understand what I saw, what I felt, not just about humans but about opening hearts." They nodded. The days turned into weeks, and soon Vera was asked to speak at a learning forum and open discussion for students across the sector. She stood in front of hundreds, some from her world, others from neighboring planets. Even a few humans sat in the back rows. She took a deep breath and began. "Once, I was mocked for admiring humans. I was told my dreams were foolish, that my feelings had no place here." She paused, then continued, "But then a human arrived, and instead of laughing at me, he listened. He asked me questions no one ever had. And because of that, I learned something very important." The room was silent, waiting. That feelings are not weakness, dreams are not shameful, and being honest with someone, even from a different world, is the bravest thing you can do. When her talk ended, many students came to speak with her. They didn't laugh. They asked real questions. "What did he teach you? What music did he play for you? Do you think humans feel the same about us?" Vera smiled at each one. She answered every question with warmth. And then, one day, it happened. A message arrived, not a recording, not a gift, a live communication. From Earth, Nathan's face appeared on the holoscreen. "Vera," he said, smiling wide, "I told you this wasn't the end." Her heart nearly stopped. She took a slow breath. "You remembered." "Every day," he replied, "and now I have news. The council has accepted my proposal. I'm coming back, this time not as a visitor, but as part of the new ambassador exchange." Vera felt 1,000 emotions rise at once: joy, shock, disbelief, hope. "When?" she asked. "In 3 rotations. He said, "and when I arrive, I want to see the garden again. With you." Vera laughed for the first time in many days. A laugh full of light. "I'll be waiting." The screen faded. Vera stood still for a moment, smiling, and then she turned to the sky, no longer empty. It was waiting. Just like her. 3 rotations later, the sky lit up with a slow, golden light as the human ship entered orbit. It was not loud or flashy, just calm and steady like its passenger. Vera stood at the edge of the landing platform, her eyes never leaving the horizon. Her hands clutched the pendant Nathan had once given her, shaped like a tiny star. This time, the whole city was watching, not with laughter, but with quiet wonder. The academy students were there, council members were there, even the alien girls who used to mock her stood among the crowd, silent and curious. The ship touched down gently. The door opened, and then he stepped out. Nathan, his eyes searched the crowd once. And then they found her. He smiled. Vera stepped forward. They met in the middle of the platform, her long robe trailing. Behind her, his diplomat uniform crisp and simple. For a moment, they didn't speak. They just looked at each other. You came back, Vera said. Her voice soft. I said I would, Nathan replied. And then, without fear or shame, Vera reached out and took his hand. Gasps spread through the crowd, but no one moved. The silence was not filled with judgment this time, it was filled with awe. Nathan looked around. A lot of people watching. Let them, Vera said with a small smile. I don't hide anymore. They walked through the city together. Vera showed him the changes, new bridges of communication, new learning stations with human and alien lessons side by side. Even a music hall that now played Earth melodies on soft nights. You did all this? Nathan asked. I only started something small, Vera said, but others followed. As they walked through the blue leaf garden again, everything felt just like before but brighter. The flowers bloomed early, Vera said, touching one gently. Maybe they knew I was coming, Nathan teased. They sat on their old bench beneath the same tall tree, watching the glowing petals drift through the air like soft lights. They don't whisper anymore, Vera said. Nathan looked at her. Do they speak kindly? Some do, she said. Some still don't, but it doesn't matter now. I know who I am, Nathan nodded. And I know who you are too. Brave, honest, someone I'm proud to know. Vera looked down, a soft warmth spreading in her chest. There was a time when I thought no one would ever say that to me. Well, Nathan said, I'll say it again if you forget. As the sun set, the garden filled with students and visitors. A special event had been arranged, a joint gathering between human and alien students. Vera was invited to speak. She stepped forward and looked over the quiet crowd. A long time ago, I was mocked for dreaming, for admiring a people I was told were too different, too emotional, too strange. She paused. But what some call strange, others call beautiful. I once dreamed about human kindness. I imagined it through music, through stories, through images. She turned slightly to look at Nathan in the crowd. And then, one day, a human walked in, and the dream stood before me. The students listened closely. No one laughed, not a single voice broke her words. We come from different stars, different ways. But feeling is not weakness, and honesty is not shame. When we stop judging and start listening, we grow. After her words, there was silence, and then applause, soft at first, then stronger. Nathan met her afterward and said, You don't just speak well, you move hearts. Vera smiled, only because mine was moved first. As the gathering ended and lights filled the sky, Vera and Nathan stood together, side by side. The girl who once sat alone watching human stories, the one they mocked, was now the bridge between two worlds, and no one laughed anymore, because dreams, when believed in deeply enough, don't stay quiet. They walk and change everything.